Alright, welcome back to Elderbear Farm. It's time for our spring fool tour. Final tour as we are on our way back home to Hawaii. So this will be the final tour, but I did want to give an update before we go. Up here in the front, we've got our strawberry fields getting going. Plenty of strawberries look like they're coming this year, mixed in with a few chives, some perennial flowers, a couple decorative things here, add a little splash of color. The blueberries, Duke, these are Duke variety, they're looking really good this year. Look like they're going to put on a lot of berries. So after all the rain we got last year, maybe this is the surplus coming this year. Comfrey's up and looking happy. Got a couple of blueberries that may need to be replaced. They got really damaged by snow a few years ago, and they just, for whatever reason, look like they never came back. So those may end up getting replaced with the new caretakers of the farm. Fig trees starting to leaf out. It's mid-April, but it's been really nice and warm, so it's a little ahead of normal schedule. Butterfly bushes kick in, a few other perennial flowers starting to pop up all around. Just such a nice, exciting time of year to come out here every day and see things changing and growing. Black cherry tree is filling out nicely, and we've got the flowers coming in now. So the fruit could be not too far after. Mint coming out again. Another blueberry bush just looking good. First elderberry we coming across, just super happy. A great plant. As we head down, we've got our currant bushes here in the shade. They do pretty well in the shade, end up being pretty productive. You can see the flowers coming in now. We'll have the fruit coming on earlier. We have mixes of black and red currants. We had 4, but we lost one. I think it was just from too much water last year, too much rain. So this property, we've done a lot to try to trap the water to soak it and keep it, which works great in a drought, and it does mitigate a lot of flooding, but when we have just constant rain like we did last year, could end up kind of oversaturating some of the trees. Another elderberry leafing out here. This is the area where we recently renovated, kind of unify the space, so it's waiting for annuals. I believe it's going to be corn back here this year. Black raspberries are popping open. Up here we've got all the lilies coming in. The locust coming out, honey locust, providing some nitrogen. So we just cut that back and then it pops up again. Up here the nice gorgeous big old red seedless grapes are starting to come out. Excited about those. The goji berries have come up pretty good so far. So we've got a decent sized one here. And then there is a tiny one over there in that mess, but this one's looking good. More black raspberries popping out. The Cortland apple tree was showing some signs of disease, and so I ended up taking the top off. So you can see it just sort of abruptly topped there about the middle. But that's okay because there'll be a new leader branch that'll take over there. Lots of flowers this year. Should get a decent amount of fruit from this thing and keep the squirrels away. The Honeycrisp still did not flower this year. It's very surprising. It's the same age as the Cortland. The Cortland, this is its 3rd year flowering. So I am a little surprised. I mean, it's looking really happy and healthy. It's starting to kind of establish itself, so I'm thinking it's gotta be at least next year it'll flower. Gummy berry, of course, looking good as always. Tons of flowers, should have tons of berries this year. The new peach trees that we put in last year, looking really good. Maybe some fruit this year, I am not sure. Don't know if they pollinated or not. We'll find out. And then the little guy over here. Now this one, we're gonna have to prune it at the top so that we get that open vase shape like this other one. You can see here it was pruned, and this is how it got to me when I purchased it as a bare root. But so now it's forming this nice open middle shape. So we're gonna have to do that with the other one when it's at the right height. Further down in the tree guilds, we've got a Liberty apple. Doing pretty good. We're staking it to kind of drag it back a little bit. It was growing a little lopsided. We're going to try to straighten it out a little bit. Up towards the fence, we've got the female hardy kiwi that is going to flower, looks like for the first time this year. Really excited about that. That's going to be fantastic. One odd thing this year is our different patches of asparagus on the property are not doing as well as expected. You can see some asparagus coming up here, but it's very thin and it's started to branch out really early. And I don't know if that's because it's been so warm or if it was because it was so wet last year. What exactly the reason is, for some reason they're just not as robust as they have been in the past. We did cut the big elderberry trees back, so if you recall those, if you watched the winter tour video, they were, 12, maybe 15 feet up. Just cut them back, bring in some more sun to the annual beds, and they'll spring right back and hopefully be really productive this year. Back along the perennial jungle, got all kinds of stuff coming in, the different asters, ironweed, the queen of the meadow bush. We've got Joe Pye weed back here. Lots of other stuff just mixed in, a little vetch popping up here and there. And all the sort of weedy stuff out here is mostly harmless. There's the male hardy kiwi. I don't see any flowers this year, so it won't pollinate the female, so probably no fruit this year for the female, but based on the fact that the female flowered this year, hopefully this guy is not going to be too far after. And these hardy kiwi, we train them in a very common way where when they get these new growth shoots off of them, this is all new growth from this year, we try to stay on top of it and cut these at about 4 inches. And that'll force the plant to bush outwards instead of just running these super long vines. It gives a nice thickness and allows it to be a little bit more manageable. There are a couple of cherry trees that were new last year. That's a Sam cherry, looking good, starting to open up. Rainier cherry, got the funniest shape to it. It's like a Dr. Seuss tree or something, and that's mostly because when our deer came to visit last year, it ate parts of it in really weird ways, ended up giving it that strange shape. And as we keep going, passion flowers all down. We'll see if that comes back. It should be popping up soon. The pomegranate, we do have some leaves coming out, and so that's exciting. It's a little early because it's been so nice and warm. Hopefully the rest of that will start to leaf out soon. And the other pomegranate that we've had some struggles with just keeping it, fully alive through the winter, as opposed to just dying back to the ground. Yet to be seen if this material will keep growing or if it'll have to come back from the roots again. It feels springy, so we'll see. We pan over. We haven't done much with the annual vegetable area. You have our garlic in, a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of kale. The new caretakers will be coming in and taking over soon and planting all their annuals. We've got, mostly friendly weeds in here that can be moved when needed. Fish are very happy in the pond. We've got some of our pond plants coming up. I still hope to get in a video about how we made the pond and just different design elements that we put into practice to make this a very self-sufficient, carefree, low-maintenance pond. So head towards the back. Got our Zone 5 back there. This is a half-acre property. You don't always have Zone 5 on a half-acre, but this area just sort of dictates it because there's some really large trees around and it just sort of encircled, and not much point in trying to force too much productivity back there. One of our pawpaws, this is the one that grows by such tiny little amounts every year, and I'm starting to wonder if that's because it tries to put out flowers every year, whereas the other ones don't. So if it continues to do that in the future and it doesn't grow much this year, I would recommend to just pull the flowers out the next year. Because when we compare that to this one, which was planted at the exact same time, a lot more growth here. And it's a different variety, but they're both, improved, grafted varieties that do really well here. And this one is clearly doing much better. We continue on. We've got our little grape trellis, which is looking really good. It's in its 4th year of getting established, where we had the main trunk come up here. 1st year. 2nd year we got our side lateral branches going out. 3rd year we grew these other laterals up to connect with the magnolia. Spin around here. Same on that side. And then this 4th year we want to have laterals coming from these side laterals across, connecting. And you should have a cool canopy of grapes hanging down afterwards. We've brought out our lettuces and greens from the basement to get some sun, kind of harden off. You can get those in the ground soon. Maybe a little bit late. They're kind of enormous, but they should be okay. We kind of redid the herb spiral. It was getting a little bit out of control, as you probably saw from the last video if you watched the winter tour. So we just stuck in our new herbs for now. They'll get pretty big this year. Little wetlands areas starting to kick in. Cattails, swamp hibiscus. Up here we've got Jerusalem artichoke, more elderberry. Tons of asters coming everywhere. Our other grapevine up there on the arbor. And over to the little mini terrace food forest, the hazelnut shrubs, trees are looking really good this year. We put out nuts for the first time last year, so expecting a nice, decent sized harvest this year. Further down, the Asian persimmons, the dwarf Asian persimmons are starting to leaf out. One of my aesthetically favorite plants. I just love the leaf shape and the color. It just looks so happy. And plenty of support species down here around. The dandelion with their nice tap roots, bring in pollinators. A little bit of comfrey, some bee balm coming up, some clover fixing nitrogen out there. The sedum, which will bring some pollinators later in the year. As we head down, I have columbine. Just kind of letting the dandelions do what they do. A little oregano up there, that'll flower as well. And the pears are looking really good this year. No sign of flowers yet. We had flowers on this guy last year, so I am expecting them to pop out. I don't remember how early they come out, but this tree's already put about a foot of growth on it so far this year. It's really impressive. And the little guy's catching up there. And over the This elderberry at the base of the compost, just as happy as can be, sucking up all that nutrient that gets into the soil from the compost. A couple of currant bushes back here that are doing very differently from each other. I don't know what's going on with this one here. It's got green growth up at the tips and then nothing in between, and then some at the bottom, but it's alive and it's putting on very healthy new shoots here, which you can see. You know, it's definitely fine. It's gonna make it. But this one doing quite a bit better, putting out flower clusters, and we'll have fruit this year. Very impressive pawpaw, growing like a weed over here. Must just love this location. And this is a spot where we put in just lots of mounded soil, hugelkultur, wood chips, all kinds of stuff. A thornless blackberry that we relocated back here. Tons of bee balm. Stuff is spreading like crazy, which I love. Some beautiful pollinator-friendly flowers coming out soon. Some more blackberry. And then here we pulled a piece of one of our hazelnuts off that had some root on it, and so we're trying to root it. And I wasn't sure, but I just noticed the other day that, try to focus, you've got some leaves opening there. That's a really good sign. With all the moisture we've had, I mean, it really should make it. So that kind of concludes the spring tour here at Elderbear Farm. It'll be my last tour, but not my last video. I will definitely have some farewell words before I go. And then once I get to Hawaii, we'll get things up and running there, and have some outstanding videos on a hopefully lovely piece of property that we can start a new permaculture paradise there. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Elderbear Farm.